everyone. Today, Midnight and I are here to talk to you guys about space. Now, when I say space, I do not mean this kind of space, although as you know, I do love outer space. Now, the space we are going to talk about today is one of our 7 elements of art, and it is how we make two-dimensional stuff seem like it's in the third dimension. So as you guys know, we live in the third dimension. Okay, so we have sides to us. We have a front, we have a back, and we have 2 other sides to us as well. But stuff that we draw on paper, a flat piece of paper, only has 2 sides. It has a front and a back, and that's it. It's only 2 dimensions. Okay, so in order to make stuff look like it's in the third dimension, we have to use different kinds of space. Now, one of those kinds that we talked about last year was using a foreground, midground, and background, and we're still going to use that this year, but we're also going to use other techniques to help you create space in your artwork. So here's what I mean by this. Now, a picture that I see a lot of people draw all the time in art class, especially during their free draw, will always look something like this. Now, this picture, while it has a lot of lovely, beautiful elements in it, like mountains and trees and, oh yeah, an alien, it's very, very flat. Everything sits on the same plane, and you can't really tell that anything is very much in front of the other, and the sizing of everything is really confusing. So we have our horizon line, and literally every single thing in this picture sits on the horizon line, whether it's supposed to be in the back or the front. We can't really tell. So we have our mountains, our sun, some bushes, our alien friend. I had to draw an alien friend since we're doing space, and you know I love drawing aliens. And we have our house and our tree. Now, I'm going to show you another picture that has the same exact elements in the picture, except I moved them around a little bit more to create more space. So as you can see, I moved the bushes up to our foreground, and because they are in our foreground, I made the size of them much larger, and I also added more detail. Now, our alien friend, I also moved up to the foreground behind our bushes, so the bushes are kind of overlapping him, so as you can see, the bushes are more in the front, and he is a bit larger too because he is also in the foreground. Then in the midground, I put our house. So as you can see, I moved it above or in front of the horizon line, so it looks like it's a little bit more in front. I made it a bit larger, so it looks like it's a little bit more in front, and I added a little bit of detail. Now the tree, I kept more in the back, and the last thing that I moved was I moved the sun. And the reason why I moved the sun from up here in the sky to a little bit tucked behind the mountains is so that you can see that the sun is in the far, far, far back. So just by having the mountains overlap a little bit, you can tell that it's more in the back. So I'm going to show these now side by side so you can see the difference in the depth. So even though the horizon line is in the same place and it's the same exact things in both pictures, this one looks like it has more dimension to it just because I moved some of the stuff around, changed the sizes of them, and added more details to the stuff that was in front. Okay, now again, besides just adding a foreground, midground, and background, there are other ways that you can show space as well. And I'm going to use circles to show you that. So the first and most easy way is to overlap objects. So an object in the front, you're going to see the whole entire object, but an object that is a little bit more behind it, you might only see part of that object. So I have a circle here, and I have a circle that is behind that circle, but because the circle is behind, the front circle overlaps it a little bit. Now, another way is to change the size of your objects. So an object that's in the front and closest to you is going to be the largest object. An object in the middle is going to be slightly smaller than that, and then an object that's all the way in the back is going to be the very, very smallest. And along with that, you'll notice they have some lines on these objects as well. Now, this is all the same object, but Stuff that is closer to you, you're going to see some more details too. So you're able to see all of the lines in the close object because it's super close to you, and you're able to make out more of the details. Then you have the middle one, which has a little bit less details because it's a little bit further away. And then the one that is the farthest away, you're not able to make out as many details because it is further away. And this is where Midnight is going to come into play here.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm at the beach. So I'm going to use myself as an example to show you how detail and size changes for stuff that's in the foreground, the midground, and the background. So I'm going to make my way up to the foreground over here. So when I'm really, really close to the camera, you can see that I'm super, super big, even though in real life you know that I'm very tiny. And you can see all the little glitter in my eyes and the shine and all of the colors in my fur. But then when I move back a little bit more, I'm a little bit tinier, and you can't really tell as much about the glitter in my eyes and as many colors in my fur. And then when I go even further back, I get really, really tiny, and you can't really see the detail to me at all. I'm just a tiny little thing floating in the ocean. Okay, bye!